said, are you Brent Reed? And he said, yeah. He goes, I'm Jess Hull's father. Mate, how good are the Bulldogs going? Me and Jess were watching the game yesterday. And, yeah, so...
Oh, yeah, she's a Bankstown girl.
Wow.
They're all coming out of the woodwork now.
Yeah.
Oh, and Penrith. What about Penrith? If Penrith was a country, it would have come 17th in the medal count.
Wow. If Penrith was a country.
Yeah, if Penrith was a country,
Yep.
it came 17th. Naomi,
Yep.
Fox and Jess got 2, and there was someone else from Penrith that picked up. I'll think of it in a second. But
Hey.
yeah.
Was it Cole Vandervoort?
David Green.
David Green, with the moustache. Hey, Matty,
Hamburglar.
just on Paris itself, did they nail the Olympics? Like, obviously you would have seen a bit of Sydney. How did you feel this was?
Joel, I think so. When when you're in amongst it, you don't really get as great an appreciation as just sitting back from a distance, because it was just every day. Like, we were up every morning, anything between 7 or 9, which you go, well, sounds like it's not too hard, but you're not going to bed anywhere. No. Like, I was going to bed most nights around 2 a.m. But we're off air at the earliest, midnight. At the latest, one night it was like 2:30 in the morning, and so you're right. You're just in the cut and thrust of it. You don't get an idea, but it was outstanding. The city was not as populated as people thought it would be. It's fair to say I think a lot of the locals moved out, knew what was coming, but it was a really great vibe. The very fact that it was spread around the city, all around the landmarks. The cycling was up around the Moulin Rouge area, Montmartre, which was just on cobblestone streets, which was really incredible. You had the beach volleyball at the base of the Eiffel Tower. So they did do it very, very well. I mean, Missile brought up a really, really good point, I thought. He said, going forward, he sees the future of the Olympics being given to a country, not just a city.
I love that.
Yeah.
He said, like, the infrastructure these days, a city's infrastructure can't handle just everything that it needs in a city. And on top of that, you've got, he said, mate, the idea of an athlete's village, he said, mate, that is just so outdated, which I totally agree with. You speak to the athletes, and everyone talks about pampered athletes, but it could not have been further from the truth as far as this Olympics. The cardboard beds, and speaking to a couple of the athletes, I spoke to a young Kiwi swimmer who said to me, Matty, the cardboard beds were ordinary, but he said the food was horrendous.
So the rumours about that, just on your co-host, because we had him every afternoon, he's good. How did you find him away from the camera, away from the microphone? Was he popular over there? Do people recognise the missile?
Oh, mate. He's awesome. I had the best time with Missile and his partner Rose. His partner Rose, mate. I tell you something. I've seen some people go hard. I'm talking family members as well. But Rose is a whole nother level. She's very, very good, very entertaining. But Missile was just, Fletch. He was tremendous. Just great to sit up in the stands and talked about the nuances of swimming, the tumble turns, who was going to win, what was the most important part, of a certain race. And you're right, Fletch. When we went around, it really blew me away how many Americans would go up to him, a lot of Italians, made some Central Americans, people from Guatemala on the last day were just coming up and gathering around Missile and getting photos. Because we underestimate. Like, we look at, as far as the swimming is concerned, every 4 years, or it might be every 2 years with the world champs, but it's all about the Olympics where, in Europe, and particularly in the States, though, the swimming is such a big part of the college system. And so, he had quite a high profile in the US.
Talking about the Panthers, haven't lost since you left, Matty. They've been on fire. 2 close calls against the Dolphins and the Eels. But have we spoken yet about Raygun to Matty?
No, we haven't. Matthew, where do you sit? Because there's a couple of. Basically, there's two areas. There's two columns. It's the people who are loving Raygun. I'm in that.
Yeah,
and there's the people who are going, she's taken away from an up and coming break dancer who Australians have got break dancing talent everywhere. Where do you sit, Matthew? I thought it was glorious.
I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was great. I thought it was brilliant. Great character. What's happened to Australians? We used to be able to have a bit of a laugh at ourselves and have a good time. I've heard people saying, she's embarrass the entire country. Well,
Please.
not the entire country. He hasn't bothered me or embarrassed me one little bit. I do a lot of stuff to embarrass myself. Raygun's not going to impact me there. I thought it was great.
Well, she came out. Yeah, she came out and she said, "Look, I knew I wasn't going to beat them. I had to come up with something a little bit different." And certainly that was.
Yep.
My favourite is doing the V sit-up on the ground where they're reaching, reaching your elbows, your hands to your feet. I thought that was glorious.
But over other Olympics, we've had Eddie the Eagle.
Yep.
We had Eric the Eel.
Yep.
So there's always something.
Ray the Gun.
Ray the
Gun.
She actually, did you see in the closing ceremony, she was rapping, she was breakdancing. She was actually pretty good.
Facts of the matter are, Brian.
Well, she should have done that. Why didn't she do that?
You can't name right now Eric the Eel's gold, silver medalist in his discipline.
Peter Van den Hoogen.
And you can't name the top three of this one, of Ray the Gun. Can you?
No.
Well, I was filthy because I was going to go to the breakdancing, and I kept looking every day, going, "When does it start?" The day I left was the day that it began, and Raygun did the dancing. Went to the skateboarding.
Yeah.
See, the skateboarding was those young girls. Man, I'm telling you, they are so tough. I went and watched Chloe Cavell. Of course, Luke was the dad, and Arissa True. And those young girls, like 14 years of age, some of the falls they took and just picked themselves up. Like, I remember once Chloe had a fall right on her ribs. She had an arm guard on to start with. She ended up just throwing that off. Did her ribs. I saw her go over to the dad, Luke, and he just gave her a bit of a pat on the head, and away she went again. Mate, heavy falls, lots of pressure. That's a lot for a 14-year-old.
Did you see any sightings of Snoop? Were you near Snoopy?
I didn't. We went to a thing once one night when they were saying that they expected Snoop to turn up, but unfortunately he didn't. It was one of those things that went around. I'd loved it, mate. Honestly, I think he was. They were saying he got around Paris a little bit with his sucking on the old doobies. I think he basically had a right of way. He'd do.
Is it not legal? The doobie's not illegal are legal in Paris?
No. It is, what is it? CBD, but not THC.
Gotcha. Got no psychoactivity.
I'm sounding like an expert here. Right?
Yeah, I know.
Look, I don't do it, but
no, no. What about the pub? Sorry, the nightlife. Is it? Because I mean, I've been to France. It was on. We were playing footy over there, so we were a little bit younger and a little bit wilder. But is it? It's the culture is you don't start drinking till about 11 o'clock. Is that?
Yeah.
That's the
rule.
Yeah,
it's Fletch. It's a lot more reserved. In Australia, you walk into the pubs and it's heaving. There were some Irish pubs there that were really good. The Irish House, they called it. You know, all the countries have a place where they all congregate. The Irish House was, of course, an Irish pub. They reckon that rocked every night. But yeah, the French are a little bit more reserved. They'd rather go to one of those cafes that sits on the corner and have a bit of a meal and a couple of drinks. Sometimes you're a bit frustrated. You're looking for a little bit of something extra.
Yeah. And what about, because I noticed the French are quite slim. Is that it? Like, did you notice they don't really eat a whole lot?
It's funny, Fletch, because I wouldn't say they're reserved as far as what they eat. They eat plenty, looking around, but yeah, and even like it's buttery, it's pretty heavy, pretty heavy and sweet, the French food. But yeah, they just don't put any timber on.
Yeah.
I put about 3 or 4 on while I was away.
I noticed the other day.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys, I really let the show down.
What's the feedback, Matty? How do you go in your absence?
Outstanding.
Yeah,
outstanding. I saw a little bit of the last show, Fletch, where you put Hindy in at the very end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to believe that someone could be so bad.
I tell you what, I do have a greater appreciation of what you do, Matthew. I used to think you just set up the other thing, but when you've got voices in your ear, and you've got to learn to listen to those voices, but also listen to what they're trying to say on the...
Yep.
We've let you down. I understand now why you make fun of us, Matthew, because we did offer you nothing. Gordon was talking, and then you asked me a question, and I had someone in my ear. I said, "Sorry, Gordon, I just switched off, mate."
Fletch, you did outstandingly well, and the more you do it, the easier it is. The best I've seen, because I say to my producers, I don't like having the ear thing in the where they speak to you.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, anyway,
IFB.
whatever you call it. Yeah, there you go, IFB. I've been out of the loop. I I don't like it, but I'll listen to it, and Cleggy will say, mate, I think we've got a bit of this coming up and whatnot. I just say, Cleggy, while I'm talking, don't talk to me. I can't. Vossi's the best I've ever seen. When Vossi hosts or is doing commentary, the producer can stay in his ear and talk to him all game or all show, and they'll talk while he's talking, and he can listen.
Yeah.
Well, for Vossi, what's another voice in your head? Really?
That's
what's another one?
Exactly right. What's the worst again? Toe jam or
toe jam? The rank, yeah, mate.
Gingivitis.
I can't believe, Sugar, you've never had toe jam.
No, never heard of it.
You've had a groin operation?
No.
Oh, yeah. What about when you... It's funny, isn't it? It doesn't smell too bad when it's your own. I'll
Matty,
leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. Hey, great to have you back, young fella.